So, hello, fabulous, lovely, beautiful, confident, passionate, self assured people. We're back again, and this time is no different than my normal. Well, what is normal for me? I don't know. Definitely not probably what you guys may find normal, but still. So, now I'm going to be talking about how to deal with a breakup or how to move on after a breakup or a separation or a letdown or a relationship that you thought was a relationship but it really wasn't. How to just move on from that or how to begin, okay? Like I work with people and that is one of many um topics that I get, as questions or in the form of questions of how to move past it. Now, I will say this. I tend to be the person that would like to work on relationships, like building them instead of splitting them apart. But really, until you're able to build a successful relationship on a solid foundation, it's best to go ahead and split apart, okay? So that you can see what you're working with and how you can even begin again, okay? So, I'm going to give you 5 steps to begin with. I think that this can help many people, all right? Many it doesn't matter what situation, but this is the thing. The key thing is that you have to be willing to face the truth and you have to be willing to actually not have any excuses, let go of any excuses, let go of any past things that could have happened. Being a victim, you have to be able to do this in order to move past the situation, okay? Keep in mind, I'm not saying it's for good, but if this is what you have to do in the time being, this is what you have to do. First thing, this is when you get real and you have to be able to let it go. That's right. Let it go. That means that if there's any leftover clothing items, products, earrings, panties, drawers, shoes, condoms that you feel like, oh yeah, I'm calling to come pick up my condoms that I left over at your place. No, I'm saying this, guys, because there has to be absolutely, positively no excuse to have to go back. Okay? You let it go. You settle what you need to settle. For some people, it may take longer than the others, especially depending on if there's children involved and blase. But still, find ways and means to wrap that up as soon as possible. If there's kids involved and you can't completely let go because you have to be in communication, I feel like this. Sit down and say, this is if you really want to do this, okay? Sit down and say, okay, this is what we need to do. We need to come up with a plan for the kids. And, are you going to be able to pick them up on this and this days? I get them on this and these days. You get them on the holidays, whatever the case may be. When we discuss, when we talk, let's keep it about the kids and not what happened. Now, remember on this part, depending on the level of maturity is where it's going to make and break this step. Because this has to be a step. And I feel like, yeah, I'm all about justice and everything. Like, let's try to see if we can settle things on a more beneficial level for both partners without having like the courts and judges to step in. Now, if it's a situation where they have to, I feel like this, go through the proper procedures then. Because everybody is not able to come up with, understandings on their own. And you need a third party, okay? So letting it go is a very big step. 2 would be creating distance, okay? Taking some steps back. Where the creating distance, okay, letting go is in what I spoke about and letting go when I spoke about like ways to find reasons not to really have to deal with each other, okay? When you create that distance, that means that, okay, maybe you two like to go to some of the same places or you have some of the same interests. And how about instead of going to the same bowling spot that you both used to go to or the same nighting club or whatever, find a different one. choose a different one. Instead of like meeting up like you used to meet up, or instead of you had a routine of talking on the phone, or just being around each other in family situations. Like, find ways to not have to bump into the person on purpose, because that's what you'll be doing. Or even on a mistake, like, just create a distance to where you're not having to frequently interact with each other, because the distance helps you heal. Okay. If you're trying to get over something or someone, like, if the more you see them, the more you see their things, you're just going to get mad, irritated, and angry, and disappointed, upset, sad, hurt all over again. So you want to heal from the pain. Okay. Not relish in it. Because remember, once you get through your own healing, that's when you see results. Okay. And I'm going to tell you, I'm not the person that's going to sit here and say, fix all your problems in 30 seconds. No, you're going to have to allow time for this. And the amount of time that's allowed depends on the person or the people involved. Okay. Like, another person may need to see, like, where they belong, where they have to be. You're giving them this time because you know deep inside you deserve better. Okay. Or let's say you need to have the time to see where you need to be, and you know, like, okay, you really care about this other person and you don't really want to hurt them, so you just you allow the time, you distance yourself. Okay. So a very important step, number 3, is distance, and allowing time with that distance. And like I said, the amount of time allowed depends on the 2 individuals that's involved. Some individuals are more mature than other individuals. So you have to keep all that in mind. And I feel like this is, how do you know when enough time has passed by? It depends on, are you the person that's doing the breaking up? Are you the person that has been, like, you know, unappreciative of another person that's been involved with you in your life? Are you the person that was being disrespectful, cheating, conniving, untrustworthy? It depends. Because if you're the person that's going through this, let's say you're a person that's going through the breakup or a breakup situation or a realization of something not going anywhere, I feel like where it's important for you to know or test your growth is if you feel like at the end of your time or the time that you've allowed, if you feel like you're still desperate to be with someone, you haven't had enough time to heal. If that person came back, right them at this moment, ask yourself the question, am I going to go back and result back to the same pattern with this person? Number 3, okay, begin to heal. Allowing healing process and alone time. It depends, you know, like with the number 3, I feel like after you're allowing time for the distance or whatever, this really, number 4 and number 3 kind of go along together, but I want to separate these so I could talk about them on a more individual level, you know. But number 4, I feel like that's where it comes in. When you check, you've allowed time for distance, and you see that that person has not returned, or they don't really want anything to you, they're not valuing you any different, then, you know, allow healing. Okay. Or if you're showing up and you're still desperate and it feels like, allowing healing is part of allowing the time, or is a part of giving that distance, and what the distance is used for, allowing time. But healing is very important, because during the healing process, okay, what you're going to do is you're going to reflect over a lot of reasons why certain things or this situation caused you pain, why you stayed in the situation longer than you felt like you needed to, what were you trying to work on, why were you trying to convince this other person to respect you when you should have just respected yourself. All this goes into healing. Is there any past things, okay, that occurred to you as a child or in your life somewhere to where you felt like this attention that you needed, or whatever the case may be, the abuse that you suffered, and even if it wasn't abuse, just a relationship that was going downhill and it just went up into flames and you don't really know how to get past it. Like, this could have been a marriage and maybe you two just grew apart, but you really need to reflect, or you may need to reflect on what went wrong, why, okay, and just really healing from that before you go jump into another situation, because you really don't want to go jump into another situation when you're still healing. And let's say you decide that you want to jump out there and date during this time, which is, I don't think that you should. If you do, I think it's very important to be honest with the people that you're dating or dealing with by letting them know, I was in a relationship. I'm doing this for fun right now, so I can't promise you anything, but just know that this is part of my healing process, and I'm meeting new people, I'm having fun. Disclose that information, because then it's not fair to get someone like what's that, it's not a jump off, but it's like the person that you go to that is, like you guys know, the person that you, or the thing that you put in the place of what you're really missing, and a rebound. And then after you realize, like, okay, or you're using the person as a rebound, and then they realize it, and then now you done damage to them. No, just be honest, so they know. It's really about being truthful and upfront and authentic. That's it. You don't gotta go into personal details about what happened, but you're you're putting it out there like, okay, this is something just fun for me, whatever the case may be. But healing is a very big step. Don't go jump into any other situation until you properly healed. You may need to seek counseling for healing. You may need to seek advice, okay? You may need alone time to where you come home for a while and you do nothing. You don't go out. You don't go be with anybody. You just deal with the pain. Because what happens when you go jump off to go be with somebody else is, like I said, you get the rebound situations, okay? Next, number 4, take up other interests, hobbies, friends, etc. Because now, after the healing time, I suggest you take up other interests, okay? Don't neglect yourself from the healing time, okay? Because during this time, you'll see whether you and the other person still can work out or not. And you're not really interfering with other people's lives and getting them all into it, and then all of a sudden just to be leaving them. This is the point, people. In today's world, we need to practice independence, male and female, in order to work interdependent together. We need to practice that, because you think, okay, something failed, this relationship failed, something is wrong with me, I need to go jump out and find another person. No. Allow yourself to be single for a while. Now I'm talking about people that's been in an actual relationship. Not where you thought it was one. Because obviously it wasn't, and you and the person weren't really seeing it as a relationship. Still, if you thought it was one and it wasn't, do these steps as well. Do these steps as well. But I'm saying, you may need to actually, heal from that situation as well. What you thought was something that wasn't. But take up other interests. Like, there's parts of yourself, of all of ourselves, that we love, we cherish, we want to do, but we decide, like, okay, no, that's too childish, or I don't want to do that anymore, blah blah blah. Look into that very thing. All right, I don't care if it's bingo night, karaoke, bowling, sewing, knitting, becoming a personal movie critic, where you go and you see movie after movie and you critique it and then go put the reviews up online. I don't care what that interest is. Singing, dancing, whatever. Find those interests. Be able to go out and meet new people. Call up an old friend. It's good to get, I'm not saying that you can't get friends that, like, if you're in a relationship and they're not, but I'm saying when you're calling up these friends, it's good to be able to understand, like, okay, if they're in a relationship, they may not really want to be out with you like that. But still, get involved with people and situations that's going to be of your best and highest good, that's going to want to go and explore these interests with you. It could be family. It doesn't even matter. It could be with your kids. Okay? Number 5, last but not least, restore your confidence. I'm sorry, but no one is going to want to be with someone that is just really has a lack of confidence. And if they do, then they're using you, okay, for their benefit. And that's not a good thing. Restoring your confidence is the biggest part of it all, because your confidence is going to show you what you deserve, that you deserve better. It's going to put you back out there in the game. Okay, you want to have high confidence. Like, forget this humble mumble stuff. See, what you guys have to understand is that you have to know when to use and call upon certain energy. And after a breakup and you're trying to restore your confidence, you might not want to be humble, okay, in that scenario. Because you want to show people that you're not a pushover. But you can still do it in a smiling, back off way. Yeah, I've heard that, been there. Okay, we'll see. See that? Not a, I'm going to lay down like a doormat and you walk all over me. It's two different things. I'm not knocking being humble, but I'm saying learn when to use it, especially for the ladies, okay? Learn when to use it. You don't necessarily get soft in love. Love is about strength, okay? And I'm not saying that you can't be soft. You just have to know when to do it. You have to know when to do it. That comes from like learning yourself. That comes from being in balance inside. Know what you want. Know what you don't want. That's where that comes from. Because when you're wanting, when you're seeing what you want, and even if it's not perfect, you're seeing what you want, then you can soften up a little bit. Okay, you can always be soft. You can always be kind. But I'm saying you gotta know. You gotta know. You gotta know when you see and smell the same BS coming at you from a mile away. And I will conclude there. And as always, if you are a person and you're going through hard breakup situations and you just don't know how to let go, feel free to contact me at butterflytolight11@gmail.com. My website, www.divineinfinity.org, and we'll talk about it. All right? Until the next time.